My muscles are sore. Ho ho ho! Alright, I just got back from the Deadpool movie. Well, I got back maybe 4 hours ago. Anyway, so when I got back, I was like, well, what am I going to draw for the whole YouTube thing tonight? I put it off till midnight, Sunday night. I figured, I'll draw Deadpool. My friend that I went to see the movie with was like, well, why don't you make the lady Deadpool? Okay, I like ladies. I like Deadpool, so here we go. And so that's what's going on here. I'm tapping back into sort of I used to be really into comics and comic book covers, and a lot of my influence, especially my color understanding, comes from looking at comic book covers, and I want to jump back into that kind of stuff. So here's kind of a tribute to that. What I ended up with in this is more of like a concept, because I did this within an hour and a half total, and I think it's kind of something to represent an idea that I could refine later, and you could kind of whip out a couple of these, and different poses, different lighting, and all that. So that's what that is. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is because I had just seen a comment earlier. I can't find it. It's somewhere, but it's about fundamentals, and somebody had said, you gotta. You should learn the rules and then break them. And then someone else had said, wait, show me the rule book. What rules are you talking about? There's no rules to art, blah, 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 blah. And my response to that is the following. There are rules, okay? And what I mean by that is if you have something like anatomy and perspective, rule of thirds, all these things, those things have components that make them work. For example, perspective, you have an eye level or horizon line, and you have points on either end, and those can be moved to the left or right, etc., to have a different field of view. And you can add another vanishing point to imply 3-point perspective, and all of that stuff. So those are actual rules. Like you can't go about drawing perspective without somewhat understanding this. And if you were to go about it without having learned the rules first, then it would look like a mess. But once you learn the rules, then you have the opportunity to break those rules. And then you can maybe bend those lines and make it look like a fisheye lens, so everything looks kind of really dynamic, right? Also, the same thing with anatomy, right? So the rules of anatomy is when you look at a figure, you look at the muscle, well, first the skeleton, then the muscles that go on top, and then the outer surface, and you need to have an understanding of how things work. So a bicep muscle has an insertion somewhere on a bone and an origin somewhere on a bone, and it pulls, and when it flexes, it's pulling, right? It's pulling something, and it looks different as it's flexed versus relaxed. Same thing with every single muscle. And there's a certain layering of each and every muscle. So once you understand those rules, then you can break the rules. Like if you look at Egon Schiele, I don't know how to say the last name, that artist has most definitely certainly learned anatomy before doing like those kind of weirdly abstracted figure drawings, right? So when people say, well, you got to learn the rules first, that's what they're talking about. They're not saying, well, the rules are you can't use black ever, you can't use pure white ever, or anything like that. But it's more it's like building a car. You have to understand how a car is built before you make your own design. So that's that. Also, I guess that really wraps it up about fundamentals. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff I can cover, but I think that's what I wanted to get out of the way. So, also, when you're working, I mean, lately for me, this is kind of irrelevant to the fundamentals, but if you're drawing, if you're working, often maybe not often, but you'll get in the zone. And you're like this, you're listening to music, you're kind of focused on the feeling, and you're just drawing, or whatever it is that you're doing. But after an hour or an hour and a half, you start to fade out of that zone, and you get burnt out. And then you start, I mean, at least for me, and I just felt this with this Deadpool thing that I was drawing, you start to feel like you're not good anymore, or like you kind of lost it. And I was like, wow, this is all really bad. This whole thing turned out not good, right? And I feel that every single time I do anything. But then you take a break, then you walk away. And I walked away, I walked around, ate some carrots, because I'm trying to be healthier or whatever. I dipped them in sriracha sauce, so they're spicy carrots, super spicy carrots. They're really good. Anyway, so I walked away, came back. When I came back, I was like, you know what, it's not that bad of a piece. But for some reason, around that 1 hour, 20-minute mark, when you start to burn out, your perception changes, and you just think to yourself, why does this suck? Like, what happened? And so I think I should probably take more breaks, because I get so into it, then I forget that my brain starts to play tricks on me. Anyway, so yeah, the Deadpool movie was pretty cool. Not going to spoil anything. Go see it. It's fun. I heard a lot of good things, and I went and saw it and lived up to my expectation. That was cool. Okay, safe zone. I finally started writing down like bullet points of things I want to talk about. So the safe zone, comfort zone. What am I talking about? When you're doing art, when you're drawing, I've talked about negative thoughts and certain things that prevent you from drawing your best, or being in that zone that I referenced earlier. Thoughts like, oh, this isn't good enough, or I'm not good enough, or I didn't do research, or I don't know anatomy enough to do a figure, so I'm not even going to try. So all these thoughts tend to come to you. And for me, it was more about subject matter. I was, for a very long time, I was really kind of afraid. Well, I don't know about afraid, but more staying in the safe zone. So, okay, all I did was draw the same things over and over again, because I didn't want to, I don't know, spike too much interest or controversy or blah, 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 blah. And I didn't want to be pigeonholed for something, right? So I stayed in the safe zone of just drawing pretty faces and, things that are expected. But I realized, I had a little whiteboarding session where I kind of draw little stick figures representing me, and I write out all these negative thoughts that kind of plague my mind. And so what did I do? What my comfort zone was drawing the pretty girls, and so branching out of that is like, but what do I really want to do? How do I escape that? And if I want to draw these things, what's stopping me? And the things that were stopping me were like, well, I was afraid of people judging me for wanting to draw Batman or something, or people expectations is a huge one. Like, for some reason, I had this whole heavy burden of like, I think people expect of me to do so and so. Like, okay, I went to school for entertainment design, so that means I'm supposed to do concept art, right? That's what people expect, and that was such an absurd limitation. Then I started digging deeper, and I realized, I've my passion really came from comic books. I don't know at what point was I, we always talk about, I've always wanted to, work on movies, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I might have said that before, but I don't think I had a passion for industrial entertainment design, meaning, concept art. It was more that it was a field that I could learn a lot from. But it just so happens that the productions that concept artists do, it's not really that appealing to me. I thought it was, but really it's just the same old, right? I wouldn't right click and save, all the concept art that I see. Like, what I find myself right clicking and saving onto my computer is like these comic book cover type illustrations. And so I don't know, I was able to like kind of dig through and figure that out. But I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. That doesn't mean I'm going to ditch concept art. It's more like I want to explore the possibilities. Because like, when I saw those covers, when I saw the PlayStation magazine covers, and they were done by comic artists at the time, when I saw Spider-Man, Spawn, Fathom by Michael Turner, all the Battle Chasers by Joe Mad, dude, I don't know how to say her name, Joe Mad, and they were, there was another cover that was illustrated by Liquid, I forgot, Christian something, but when I saw those, I was like, how did they do that? I want to know how they drew such dynamic poses. How did J. Scott Campbell make this awesome Spider-Man look like he's shooting webs at you and flying out of the page? How did Joe Mad do the whole awesome proportions of huge hands and really badass looking characters? Like, how did they color that? Where did the lighting come from? And this whole time, like, I didn't realize, but I've been learning how to do all that, but I haven't been doing it. And now, like, I look at that, I was like, well, yeah, that stuff's easy. I know exactly how to color that. That's not a big deal at all. In fact, I could take that and try to spin my own version of it. Oh, dynamics, that's easy. I can figure that out. And so, I don't know, maybe for some reason, because I can decipher and sort of break it down, deduce, and surmise how things are done, it sort of takes the magic away from it. But I don't know. I definitely want to jump back into that. Maybe I'll fill the sketchbook up with more ideas of that kind of thing, that kind of stuff. Also, I think I want to get back into sequential, like, storyboarding. I used to do all these stupid little funny comics, and here's another thing. A lot of concept art is so serious, you know? There's always, like, this dark, gritty mood. Welcome to concept art, you know? And there's always a dude in the foreground with a spear. That's so boring to me. I prefer something with a bit of energy, you know, things happening, narrative imagery where people are interacting, but all these, like, even like a concept art illustration where somebody's being chased. Okay, cool. I've seen that like a million times. What about all the cool stuff that happens in Batman comics? I just read A Killing Joke, which is an older Batman comic, and it was so cool, so dark, but dark in a way that you feel it. It's not literally, a scene from Lord of the Rings. It's just like kind of dark and moody, but it's dark in the fact that the Joker is doing messed up stuff, and Batman's really motivated to get him, and the coloring and the lighting totally speaks to that. I'm like, that's awesome. Why don't we learn that, at Art Center? At least, maybe the illustration department learns that. I don't know. We mostly focused on iterative design, understanding shape language, design language, perspective, and very structural. And I don't regret it. I totally appreciate it, and I'm still using it to this day. But I want to, bring life back into this art. So yeah, sequential art. I think I remember when I was. It was this summer. I missed summers when I was a kid where you just had nothing to do, and all we were watching was like SpongeBob and Nicktoons. We'd go outside and ride our bikes, and a bunch of mischief. There were lightning bugs at night, and those were good times. I'm not saying good times are gone. There's still awesome stuff happening, but during those times, I would draw these stupid little comics of SpongeBob with Patrick, and but I'd like spin it to be something totally different. I'd give them lightsabers, and I invent this ridiculous conflict, and I wish I still had that notebook. It was on a loose leaf piece of paper type notebook, but I had fun doing that, and it's this stupid sense of humor that I miss doing. Actually, I still did that kind of stuff in Art Center for some assignments. Actually, also to procrastinate. I'll post the links to those. I think I still have the links. Yeah. So yeah, branching outside of my safe zone, this expectation land of, what do people want from me? It keeps coming back, but I think I'm figuring it out, and I think through YouTube, through talking to you guys and whoever is listening, it's helping me figure things out for myself, and hopefully letting other people in on it, so that if they're going through that same thing too, or something similar, maybe I can present a format of how I'm going about handling it, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. So the sketch fit is going pretty well. We're about to jump into week 3, which it's still week 1 for everybody who joined last minute. And so entry is now officially closed, and any straggler behind, I might be lenient and let a couple people in, but if they choose, maybe I'll give a 24-hour grace period or something. But yeah, so entry to the Sketchbook Challenge is over, and now everybody that's in is looking for the next 10 weeks, and we'll be working out, posting our progress. You guys, also, you're all welcome to follow our progress in the forums, and we'll be sharing our insights and what's going on. A lot of ups and downs, and people sharing, why they feel down, all these negative thoughts, and we kind of help each other. It's been pretty awesome so far. I did not expect it to be as awesome as it is, and I'm really curious to see how things turn out at the end. I don't know if it's still okay. So I'm part of this Kickstarter for 3D Total. I have not been responsible in keeping up with that, but or not keeping up, but sharing it. So we're doing a Kickstarter, and it's a $25 for 100 hours worth of tutorials from all these different artists, and I'll be doing a tutorial for them as well if the Kickstarter is successful. Also, the money that they get also goes back to the artists. So if you support the Kickstarter, then you're also supporting the artists. I think through royalties. I'm not sure how they're doing it, but it seems like a really cool project, and I hope it goes through. And the link for that will also be in the description. And if you are awesome, then check it out. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, good for you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go to bed because it's 1:46 in the morning, and I have work in the morning. This is really bad, by the way, for the whole fitness thing, because I'm supposed to be sleeping earlier. But I have this commitment to do a video every week, so here we go. Until next time, my friends. Click.